is what she chose to do in a position of power. In 2018, Tanuja led a global walkout against sexual harassment, and the following year, she successfully lobbied Google to end its policy of forced arbitration for sexual harassment claims. But she didn't stop there. Tanuja became a key advocate for HR 4445, bringing together survivors of sexual harassment from across the country, until that bill became federal law in March of 2022. Throughout all of this, she continued to advocate fiercely for caste equity within the workplace. Since then, she has earned her law degree from the Cardozo School of Law and now serves as a plaintiff lawyer on both sexual violence cases and employment. She has pivoted not away from her goal, but further into it. The Transformation Award honors both an individual who has demonstrated exceptional dedication to advocacy, but also someone who mirrors Day One's mission. Through tireless efforts, they have championed the rights of survivors. They have raised awareness and fought to dismantle systemic barriers that perpetuate cycles of abuse. Their commitment to creating safer, more equitable environments has resulted in meaningful change. From advancing policy reforms to providing critical support services, she truly embodies what Day One is about. This award recognizes her unwavering passion, leadership, and influence in transforming the lives of countless individuals and communities affected by violence. Learning more about Tanuja's journey has shown me the beauty of passion. It has shown me what happens when passion is placed in the service of others. She reminds us that we are not confined by the spaces we hold or the inequities we experience, but by how we choose to transform them. It is now with great honor that I welcome Tanuja Jain Gupta.
Thank you so much. I share that with organizers who made everything she just described possible. Along the way, I met some incredible activists, organizers, service providers, therapists, lawyers, technologists, and I consider them both my mentors and my accomplices in action, and I thank them, especially the ones that could be here tonight. When I think about the last 10 years, I think of it from the perspective of an individual served by Day One. And I tried to imagine what was it like to be a teenager hitting puberty in 2016 and living through the events of the last decade, trying to figure out life. What were the lessons that a teenager learned about how to have healthy, intimate relationships? And what will the next generation learn from the next 10 years? So tonight, instead of me reliving the past, I want to talk to you about where I'm headed, my plan for the future, and sincerely ask you all to join me. Step one of the plan, hold tech accountable. I say that as someone who came from tech and left deeply disturbed. The speed, the scale, the anonymity, and the convenience of tech combine to make it a unique and powerful weapon that now fuels gender-based violence. Tech companies continue to rake in hundreds of millions of profits year over year with AI nudify apps, which use artificial intelligence to strip women and children in photos naked, place them in sexual positions, and then splatter those photos all over the web. And even when you think technology may not be involved in gender-based violence, it probably is. You probably have heard of the case of Giselle Pellico, the woman who was drugged by her husband to be raped 200 times by 70 different men. He recruited those men on a website called Coco, right? And that website, it shut down, it came back up. Even if it stayed shut down, it wouldn't matter, because men like him often go into the manosphere of Telegram, they'll buy drugs, and then they'll go on to a website like motherless.com to watch what's called sleep videos, which give them tutorials of how to use those drugs to make sure that their victims are really asleep. So, part one of the plan, we have to hold tech accountable. We have to eliminate the legal safe harbor that these platforms and their sycophantic AI chatbots use to avoid liability. Step two of the plan gets a little bit harder, and it's probably much more personal for some folks in this room. We must build a Me Too movement against incest. We are rightfully outraged when institutions and external authorities perpetrate childhood sexual abuse, but we struggle when the call is coming in from inside the house. Right? That Pellico case, very few headlines mentioned the fact that the daughter and the grandson had claims of sexual abuse, and that the husband himself was molested as a child. Researchers estimate that about 34% of childhood sexual abusers are actually blood related to the child. And we know that that is conservative. That number is only higher because the most stifled voice of transformation is that of a child whose brain rewired when prematurely exposed to intimate activity. But it can be really hard to speak out because it feels like betrayal, and it contradicts our deeply held notions about privacy in the home and family. So we're gonna need solutions that are not just carceral or litigious in nature, and I will work as fast as I can to get them, but I hope you'll join me because I think we can go further together.